Hope wants Steffy not to stop her from taking Beth home. Friday, August 9, 2019, on Bold and the Beautiful, Rich wants Flo and Zoe they'll pay. Sally gets a confusing wish from Beth, and Steffy struggles to get her mind around what's happening. At first recreation, Brooks confronts Ridge about Thomas knowing the truth and not telling Hope. Ridge, unconvinced, wants to deal with that later, as Steffy has a lot of pain coming her way that she doesn't deserve. He hollers at Flo and Zoe for messing with people's lives, before telling Brooke he's trying to be happy for her and Hope. But asks what about Steffy, it's not fair. He vows to make Zoe and Flo pay and takes the keys as he and Brooke leave. In the design office, Eric admires Sally's latest design and notes she's been throwing herself into her work lately. Sally admits it's been a good distraction from her breakup. Eric can see she misses Wyatt and is sorry. It didn't work out between them. Eric says she has her aunt's flair and feels sure she'll find another man who deserves her. Sally wishes it could have been Wyatt. Later, Wyatt joins Sally and tells her something happened. Sally that's it has to do with Flo. Before Wyatt gets into that, he wants to apologize. He realizes Sally's mistake wasn't so bad and says, I was wrong. I regret the way things ended with us and I am sorry. Sally scoffs it. Wyatt wants us to know in all the madness going on. Nothing was more important than seeing her. At the Cliff house, Steffy stammers that the baby can be Beth, she's Phoebe. Hope reiterates that Steffy has been raising her daughter. Liam assures Steffy they can do whatever genetic test needs to be done, but the parties involved have admitted what happened. Steffy marvels at the doctor selling the baby for a gambling debt. Liam recaps that he knew Talis was willing to hand over money for an adoption. As Steffy digests being lied to, Liam remarks that Beth was the whole time safe, loved and cared for. Hope is relieved to have her back and is never letting her go again. Liam and Hope talk about the immediate connection they felt to the child. Hope can't wait to take her home. Steffy tearfully blurs, you are not taking my daughter from the only home she's ever known. She begins to quack and cry as she says, I am her mommy. Hope says it's wrong. She was away from her mother for months. Steffy sobs, they have to think about Phoebe. Hope replies her name is Beth. She assures Steffy she won't leave her out, she can help with the transition. Steffy breaks down. She only knows she loves her. Hope has to know what she's asking of her. Hope isn't asking. Steffy appeals to leave to say something for once. Liam stressed that he and Hope are her parents. Rich consoles Steffy. Liam miserable. Brooke stands with Hope, but he doesn't want to do this to Steffy. They can find a solution. Brooke and Rich arrive. Steffy isn't okay and tells Hope, there's no way you are taking my daughter home. Brooke reminds her there was nothing legal about the adoption. Steffy says Phoebe doesn't know that. All she knows is her and this house. You can rip her away from the only family she knows. Hope wants to take her home where she should have been since the day was born. She's grateful but is taking her daughter and wants, don't you dare try to stop me. Wyatt gives Sally a heartfelt apology. Go back to this time in 2010 on the Bold and the Beautiful when Hope walked out on her leave upon learning. He had sex with her mother while pregnant. Bridge made a family with Jackie and Owen. Thursday, August 8, 2019, on Bold and the Beautiful, Liam and Hope break devastating news. Brooke speaks to Hope and Rich learns Thomas threatened people over the secret. At first recreations, Flo tries to explain the adoption to Brooke and Rich and remarks that Steffy and Talis seemed like such nice people. Brooke fumes. It didn't matter to her that Hope was the baby's mother. Flo protests. Of course it did. Shanna interjects that they should blame Zoe. Flo always wanted to tell the truth, but they were all too scared. Brooke warns the consequences they tried so hard to avoid will be much worse now. She tries to reach Hope, but Zoe has Hope's cell phone. It was left in a hotel room. Brooke reaches Liam, who assures her that Hope's visits and knows everything. Hope gets on and Brooke enthuses about the miracle. But Hope tells her Steffy just got home. Brooke realizes Steffy doesn't know yet. They disconnect and Brooke informs Rich, who wants to call the lab. Brooke doesn't want the press. Zoe tries to reach Rich, but Rich snags her phone and warns her and Flo there not to go anywhere. Flo asks, "Do I get a phone call?" Rich asks about Carter's role. Flo clarifies his innocence. Zoe and Flo announce Thomas knows everything. He is known for months, Brooke gasps. Thomas knew Beth was alive and he didn't tell Hope. Zoe and Flo reply yes. Brooke and Rich learn how Thomas stops Anders from exposing the truth and threatens them all. Rich can't believe it and worries about his daughter's nightmare, which is just beginning. At the Cliff House, Hope disconnects from Brooke. Steffy, unnerved, wants to take Phoebe and to put the girls down. She takes Kellyanne and Liam tells Hope. He's realized this will be much more difficult than he thought. Hope feels it can be as bad as what they have already gone through. Steffy returns and asks Twitchy about Hope holding the baby. Liam explains that Flo is not the birth mother. He says Flo believed she was helping a doctor friend adopt an abandoned baby. Steffy doesn't want to hear crazy theories. Hope tells Steffy the baby was stolen. Steffy rails the doctor took her from her patient. Liam says he had gambling debts and told the mother's child had died. Steffy horrified. Liam explains about the stillborn. Steffy feels sick. Steffy realizes the truth. She realizes they must know who the birth mother is. She wants to call Carter, but Liam has her wait. Steffy next learns Taylor's colleague was the doctor who did this, Dr. Buckingham. Hope tells Steffy she's been a wonderful adoptive mother and reminds her she was a patient of Dr. Buckingham's own Catalina. She was told her baby didn't make it. Liam interjects that Flo, Zoe and even Thomas confirmed of all this. Hope knows it's a shock and hopes Steffy will help care for her. At this point, Steffy knows her daughter better than she does. Hope reveals Steffy this is Beth. Liam reunites with Beth as Brooke confronts Flo. Tuesday, August 6, 2019, on Bull and the beautiful Shanna begins to panic for her daughter. Rich updates Brooke on Liam's claims. Hope and Liam kiss as they vow to start over. On the rooftop at first excursions, Liam and Hope joyfully embrace. Hal explains everything but right now they have to go see her. Hope cries, yes, thank you. Rich and Brooke are canoodling at home, but she senses something's wrong. Rich says Steffy concerned about Liam and so is he. He wonders if Liam asks Brooke anything about Flo or the adoption. He seems to think Flo may not be Phoebe's birth mother. He explains about the information Liam got from the Las Vegas hospitals. Brooke trusts Liam's instincts and recalls that Shanna was shocked about Phoebe and the adoption. They debate as Rich thinks Liam's going through something. He finally tells Brooke that Liam thinks Beth is alive. Brooke is stunned when Rich elaborates that he thinks Phoebe is Beth and that he got the idea from Douglas, who had it from Thomas. Brooke needs to get to the bottom of this. They head out. At the Cliff House, Liam sends the babysitter home. Hope is overcome with emotions as they approach the bedroom door. Liam offers to bring Beth to her. Hope nods. She flashes to what happened to Catalina. Liam appears with the baby. Hope takes Beth and tells us they are going to erase that night and start over. Beth jabbers, "Mama, Mama," as Hope sobs happy tears. Liam carefully watches them. Hope cries that they'll begin new and they'll never let Beth go. Liam kisses Hope. At first creations, Shauna friends Flo packing her things into a box. Flo updates us that Beth knows the secrets and so does Liam. Shauna thinks the doctor should pay, not Flo, but she points out she knew what he was doing and didn't stop him. Shauna wants to run bold and beautiful. Flo says it's over. The family is all good. Hope and Logan will hate her, and they should. Shauna asks Flo to place the blame on her, then decides she should run, but Flo discounts both scenarios. Brooke and Ridge arrive to question Flo about Liam's claim. Brooke narrows her eyes. What's going on here? Flo, we need to know. Flo reveals she is not the little girl's mother. Brooke demands to know who her mother is and asks, "Is it Hope?" Flo gasps, "Yes, Phoebe is Hope's baby." Thomas and Liam fist fight on the rooftop before Liam and Hope celebrate. Monday, August 5, 2019, on Bold and Beautiful, Steffy seeks reassurance from her dad. Liam and Thomas call each other liars and Flo tries to salvage her relationship with Wyatt. At the Cliff House, Rich agrees with Steffy that the idea Phoebe's bet is a little out there. Steffy is sure Flo will explain the mix-up at the hospital and tells Phoebe she is her mommy and loves her. Ridge assures her there will be an explanation and doesn't blame Liam. He is going through a lot. Steffy's Thomas in not. Ridge reiterates Beth's gone and Phoebe's sleep right over there. In the Foster Corrections office, Thomas continues trying to gain access as Liam tells Hope their daughter is alive and Thomas kept it from her. He plans Wizards to come with him to see her. If she takes one look at her, she'll know. Hope comes Thomas, Bull and Beautiful just then. Thomas bursts in fuming and hollers at Liam to get away from his wife as Hope gets between them. Thomas punches Liam to the floor when he mentions Douglas, then drags Hope out the door to the roof. Thomas tearfully says he can't lose her, they have to go. Hope tells him this isn't love. Thomas claims Liam's lying. Hope screams, "You hit him," then asks, "Who are you?" Thomas grabs her intensely before apologizing. He snaps she needs to forget Liam as Liam appears and punches him. A fist fight ensues as Hope screams. Hope on rooftop, Thomas takes off and tries to call his pilots as Liam gets him in a headlock and tells him to confess to Hope. Thomas gets away. Hope sobs as Liam explains the dead body. The hell wasn't Beth. She's alive. She's Phoebe. He adds Steffy didn't know then and Susie's. We are going to have our family back. They laugh and cry in each other's arms. In the beach house, Flo tells Wyatt she didn't know what Reed's wanted at first and then she got in too deep too fast. She says it was agony watching Hope every day. Wyatt protests, why didn't she stop it? Flo insists every time she tries someone got in her way, then Thomas got involved and personally threatened her life. She begs Wyatt to forgive her. They can end like this. Flo cries she is the same person he falls in love with. Wyatt goes on about the numbers of chances she had and the ones she let it go on. Flo thinks they can still have the futures they dreamed of, but Wyatt protests over her, withholding the hugest information possible. Flo is glad he shouts she can finally breathe again. Wyatt states the person standing in front of him isn't a person he is trusted or loved and questions his judgment. Flo warns him not to blame himself. Wyatt thinks should have been a hero if she had come forward. Flo couldn't stand the thought of losing him again, but she did and will probably go to jail anyway. She's just glad Hope can finally be a mother to her child. Liam tells Hope's better life as Thomas angrily pounds on the door. Friday, August 2, 2019, on Bold and the Beautiful, Flo tries to explain herself. Steffy updates Rich on Douglas' claim and Thomas learns Liam is on to him. At the beach house, Wyatt gawps as Flo believes she was never pregnant and never had a baby. Flo confirms Phoebe's bet before talking about her friends who asked her for a favor to pose as the birth mother for an adoption. She thought they were bending the rules so a child could have a better life. Liam realized the friend was Taylor's contact. Liam and Flo faces off Bold and Beautiful. Flo explains it was Dr. Buckingham and another woman gave birth to a stillborn baby that night. He made the switch on Catalina because goons were threatening his daughter. Flo lists the other people who knew, including Emma, who was going to go to Hope. She explains Thomas told her what happened to Emma would happen to her. At the Cliff House, Steffy shows Douglas how to phone Thomas. He hugs her and says, "I love you, Aunt Steffy." She loves him too. Rich arrives and Douglas goes to room to call Thomas. Steffy updates her father on what the boy has been saying. In the hotel room, Thomas is so ready for sex with Hope, who becomes upset that he's not being patient. Thomas' phone rings and she suggests he answer. It's Steffy. How wishes Thomas take call? Thomas answers and barks. What is it? What is it? Douglas informs his father that Steffy and Liam are mean like him and Teddy told him that Phoebe's bad. The boy disconnects and Thomas tells Flo, "Let's get out of here." She is confused but goes to change. Thomas phones Steffy, who questions if he told Douglas that Phoebe was bad. Thomas learns Liam took off and disconnects.